A child's cry, seeking sensory experiences in an overwhelming world.
If we didn't understand her or know what she wanted, she would just go around the house and just start knocking everything over.
Before he got diagnosed, he only spoke 100 words.
The first day he started preschool, I sat outside his classroom all day because I was terrified that they couldn't figure out what he wanted.
Then, these families each discovered this, Applied Behavioral Analysis Therapy, or ABA. It's individualized therapy designed to teach children real-world skills while early intervention is possible.
So I reached out to ABA, and that was when our whole life changed for the better.
They say the results have been nothing short of extraordinary.
I call it Easton's world and then our world. ABA brings Easton out of his world into our world.
I was so worried she was going to be nonverbal that I wasn't ever going to hear her say mom, and she said her first word in less than 2 months.
Within a month, he was speaking 3 to 4 word sentences.
I can't even explain how far my son has come.
But then everything changed.
Our whole world fell apart.
The families received these letters from their insurance providers in January. They say that they will no longer cover ABA therapy for those with small business or individual insurance plans.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Now, the cost of ABA varies, but one mom said it would cost her about $65 per hour out of pocket. Many of the families are considering moving out of state or even getting a new job at a larger company. Now, the kids aren't receiving ABA anymore.
And she's already shown regression.
It's devastating to watch a child go through that.
ABA therapy is often 30 to 40 hours per week. However, in public schools, children with disabilities receive sometimes as little as 15 minutes per week of a more generalized speech and occupational therapy. Parents say ABA offered hope that was ripped away.
It makes me angry. It makes me feel like our kids are important, and they are.
It's hard to watch my child lose his service and not get it.
In Sioux Falls, Allison Royal.
Sorry.
KDLT News.
Tonight, KDLT's Allison Royal talks to one of those companies to get some answers and their side of the story.
In 2015, former Governor Dennis Dugard signed Senate Bill 190 into law. It requires coverage for autism spectrum disorders, but with some exceptions.
High five.
Under South Dakota state law, applied behavioral analysis therapy is covered for insurance plans for companies with more than 50 employees. That means providers like Sanford don't have to cover ABA for small group or individual plans. They thought they weren't until they did an audit last fall.
They were on a plan that they shouldn't have received those coverage. So we immediately notified them that they wouldn't be able to have that coverage anymore.
An unknown number of South Dakota families received these letters saying that ABA therapy would no longer be covered and that previous coverage was simply a mistake.
From Sanford's standpoint, we've chosen to cover what is required by the law, but at this point, no more.
Sanford Zimmer added that if the law changes, they'll be happy to comply.
And we certainly understand the confusion that caused.
In fact, some people are trying to change the law. There are 2 bipartisan bills making their way through PEER.
Children with autism aren't Democrats, they're not Republicans, they're just young people who benefit from this therapy and they need our help.
State Representative Ryan Schwach is one of the sponsors. Sanford believes premiums could increase if they started to cover ABA for everyone right now. Schwach is hoping this bill won't cost taxpayers.
Autism Speaks has told us that this isn't going to affect state dollars at all, that there's no state funding involved with it, and I believe that to be the case.
This wouldn't impact Medicaid patients whose insurance already covers ABA for people 20 and under. The state legislation is off to the Affairs Committee. If passed, ABA coverage will be required for individual and small business plans starting in 2020. This means those families that we introduced you to last night will still go an entire year without ABA therapy. The only exception to this would be an emergency clause. Those are uncommon. Allison Royal, KDLT News.